Welcome back, everyone, to the Popcorn Podcast. I am Tommy Cresta, and we do not have a Ryan here today, as Ryan is on vacation currently, and I was unable to attend this vacation because I am home watching my dogs. But we're here to talk about Eddington, the new film from Ari Aster, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Austin Butler, and Emma Stone. This film is not for everyone, and you're already seeing it with the Rotten Tomatoes score, the IMDb score, and everything else in between. But we will get into that. But first, just quickly running through what I've been up to, and that is healing from my hip surgery still, dealing with some PT, trying to figure out a new sponsorship deal with a company that you guys have heard us talk about here before, and hopefully we can talk about some more when we finish up and sign the contract. Trespass is still in competition right now. It's doing really well. And make sure to go check out Sean Baker. He's a filmmaker that we are friendly with, and I am actually producing his next film. And yeah, make sure to go donate. We're trying to raise money for the funds right now. And it's my first film technically my second film as a producer, because I did produce the short film I made. But yeah, go donate to that. We're raising funds for it right now. And yeah, before we get into that, I wanted to go through and I want to do a news segment because I feel like we haven't gotten to do those in a while. And there will be no starting cut because it's just me in this episode. But yeah, starting off with, we got our official reviews from Fantastic Four on Rotten Tomatoes. It debuts at 88% with a 64%. It debuts at 88% with 64 reviews. And I'm still super excited. Me and Ryan are seeing it on Friday in IMAX. We are super excited. And that review should be out. I think we're going to try and do a Saturday review again, like record it on Saturday and put it out. I think. But I'm not going to make any guarantees for that. But we're going to try and have it out as soon as possible. It might be a Monday like how we normally been trying to do them. I don't know yet. But I promise it's coming soon. We got a new poster for The Naked Gun, which I really am getting excited for. I know it's a ridiculous film, but I really am getting excited for it, and I can't wait to see if it's any good. And of course, excuse me, it's Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson. We got to hear more about Mr. Terrific. Not Mr. Terrific. Simon Williams got to discuss the Wonder Man project, and I'm super, super excited about that. We got a new trailer for the Demon Slayer film, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. Comes out September 12th. Barbie came out 2 years ago, so Barbenheimer. We got our first poster for Avatar Fire and Ash. Our first poster, or a new poster, I guess, because I think the first poster came out like 8 months ago. Our new poster for Predator Badlands, which also came alongside a new trailer with Elle Fanning. And it's cool to see the Predator being the good guy in a film. And I think this movie looks really cool, taking place in the future, and having Weyland Yutani, of course. We've heard Fede Alvarez and the director of Predator talk about how they want to do a Alien vs. Predator, so it's cool to see them setting this up. And I have a feeling Alien, the Xenomorph's going to show up in this movie, the way that they're setting it up. And in the end of this trailer, we do see the robot suit that they use in Aliens. We see it going up against the big monster that you see in this trailer. So that was a pretty cool little Easter egg. In sad news, Malcolm Jamal Warner, who starred as Theo in The Cosby Show, has sadly passed away. We wish the best to his family and everyone close to him. We got official news that Ted Lasso Season 4 is officially in production. Apple TV put out a quick little snippet of them getting ready to film. It's very cool to see. I'm a huge Ted Lasso fan. I don't know how I feel about them bringing back another season, but hopefully it will be worth it. We got a trailer for Osgood Perkins' new film titled Keeper, which we will see November 14th. Don't want to say too much about it. Go check out the trailer. It looks very unique. Osgood Perkins, I love his films. I think The Monkey was definitely a step down from how good Longlegs was, but I still think that he's a very talented filmmaker, and Keeper looks a little bit more in the style of what I like. We got our first look at Sydney Sweeney as Christy Martin in Christy. The film is going to premiere at TIFF. We got our box office numbers from this past weekend. We had Superman coming in at $57.2 million. Jurassic World Rebirth still pulling in money at $23.4 million. I Know What You Did Last Summer debuts at a $13.4 million, at a $13 million, which I think they wanted a little bit more out of this film, but nonetheless, it still pulls in $13 million. New poster for Alien Earth. It's a xenomorph crushing Earth, but it looks like the Earth's kind of like the egg. It's pretty cool. Again, this comes out August 12th. This is one of my most anticipated shows of the year, and I can't wait to see more. We got our first official trailer for Netflix's new docuseries, WWE Unreal, which will start streaming July 29th. We got another poster for The Paper from the universe of The Office. I think this is going to be absolutely terrible. I don't know why they're doing this. But, again, it's not up to me. And maybe I'll be wrong and it'll be good. We got our poster for Season 2 of Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne's show Platonic, which will come back August 6th. I still haven't gotten to watch Season 1. I hope to get around to it because I think those two are two of my favorite actor and actresses, and I love their on-screen chemistry. We got a poster for Hoppers, the new Pixar film. It's pretty much Avatar, but this girl can become a beaver and talk to animals. And we got to see a clip from the most recent episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And this is when Charlie's inspired by the bear to open his own restaurant inside the apartment with Frank. And if you haven't watched Always Sunny this season, I'm telling you, it is one of the best seasons in the last couple of years. I think the first 3 episodes so far have been absolutely hilarious. So definitely go check that out. And last but not least, we got our first trailer for Mortal Kombat 2. We can see Johnny Cage leading this film. Of course, Johnny Cage has no powers. He is just an action star from the 80s. And he's now going to be fight a bunch of gods in the Mortal Kombat arena. And this movie looks awesome. I love the first Mortal Kombat. I think they did a great job of adapting it. And I can't wait to see more. Now, moving on. We're going into our review of Ari Aster's Eddington. Of course, Ari Aster is one of the most controversial filmmakers in Hollywood right now. He has directed Hereditary, which of course people consider one of the best modern horror films. I love Hereditary. I don't think it holds up to me. I don't love it as much as other people do. Midsommar, which I like, I don't love. And then Beau is Afraid, which I think would have been his best movie if the third act doesn't happen at all. I think he could have ended at the end of the second act, and it's his best movie. But the third act happens. We all know about the giant penis living in his attic, which ends up being his dad, and it's just a terrible movie. And now we have Eddington, which is weird because I think Eddington could somehow be his best movie, and I know a lot of people think it's his worst movie, but I really, really enjoyed it. I know Ryan also really enjoyed it. Ryan thinks he liked it a lot more than me. Ryan will probably talk about it a little bit when we do our next review, just because I know he's going to want to put his input in, just because he didn't get to do the review for this. But currently, Eddington is sitting at a 7.1 on IMDb, a 65% Metacritic, 81% on Google, with a 67% critic score and a 63% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. The critic consensus is that Eddington carries a stellar cast with fearless direction by Ari Aster and an off-kilter story, but its tonal misdirection will often leave viewers wanting. I actually don't think that's a horrible critic consensus by Rotten Tomatoes, and most of the time I don't really agree with their opinions on how they word things, but I don't hate this one. But the synopsis of this film is that during the COVID-19 pandemic, a standoff between a small-town sheriff and mayor sparks a powder keg as the neighborhood is pitted against neighbor in Eddington, New Mexico. Again, this film debuted on my sister's birthday, July 18th of 2025. Had a runtime of 2 hours and 25 minutes. It was, of course, produced by Ari Aster and written and directed by Ari Aster. And I think it might be his best written film because it's the slowest of his movies. It has a lot of build-up, and it really is a lot of just conversations building between these two characters of Joe Cross, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and Ted Garcia, played by Pedro Pascal. And I think these two killed it in this role. I think at times there is a little bit too much going on, and I wish we got a little bit more of just those two squaring off. But also, Luke Grimes was really good as Guy. Austin Butler was really good as Vernon Jefferson. Emma Stone's great and everything as Louise Cross, Joaquin's wife. This girl, Amelia Hofarel, who plays Sarah. Michael Ward as Michael was probably my favorite part of the entire movie. We'll get to him later. Matt Gomez Hideka, he plays Eric Garcia, the son of Ted Garcia. And then Cameron Mann plays Brian, who has probably the he's probably the most important character in this movie because he probably causes most of the events that happen throughout. But yeah, this every one of the characters I just named, every actor does a really good job, and I think Ari Aster does a great job of getting really good performances out of everyone. I think Toni Collette in Hereditary, he gets the best performance out of her career. Again, snubbed for the Oscar nomination, maybe even snubbed for the win. Alex Wolff in Hereditary could have been nominated. Florence Pugh still might be her best performance in that. Could even say Thunderbolts, but he just, and I mean, Joaquin and Beau is Afraid, he's the best part of that movie. Without him, there is no movie. And yeah, this movie has so much going for it. And surprisingly, I said to Ryan, one of the things I said about this movie is that you could have completely never had Austin Butler in this movie. And the movie's the same score for me in my head, what I give it. I don't think his character does anything to the story to move it forward. And I don't think he's just Austin Butler. He's a great actor. I mean, he's an Oscar nominated actor. He's great in everything. I think he got snubbed by not getting nominated for Doom Part 2, which I think he was even better as Fade Rotha than he was as Elvis. It's more because I just like villain performances more. And I just think that, yeah, his story doesn't really do anything for me. And I think Emma Stone's character was great. It was funny listening to Joaquin talk about that. He said he was very thankful that he had worked with Emma before, just because Emma had only a week to be on set and she filmed a lot of scenes because she is in a lot of this movie. With that being said, I think the biggest downside of this movie is its runtime. It's, as I said, 2 hours and 25 minutes, and it does drag a bit at certain parts. I think it could have been a 2 hour movie, I think. I think there is maybe 15 to 25 minutes you probably could have cut out of this movie that just didn't feel necessary. But if people remember, during this time period, during the height of COVID, there was a lot going on. There was the tragedy of the George Floyd killing. There was the riots that preceded all of that, especially in Seattle with the Antifa group. There was stuff going on everywhere. And that's where the character Sarah comes in. She is one of those people that's trying to make up for everything. She's a uh, hard left young white girl who's trying to make up for everything in the past, and she's trying to make the world a better place, but she's gone way far to the left that she's pretty much calling herself a racist, and then she can't be anti-racist because she was born racist because she's white. And I think that's where this movie had me and the rest of the theater at, like, where it was at its best, is that it never feels like it's making fun of one side too far. Because, I mean, the main character's movie is Joaquin Phoenix, and he is the opposite of Sarah. He is a far right Republican, doesn't believe in COVID, won't wear a mask, and says some stupid stuff throughout this movie. I mean, this movie was very, very funny, and I think Ari Aster did a great job of balancing the humor, that it never feels too far on either side, that I think both, actually, I don't know. I definitely feel like those crazy people who didn't believe in COVID definitely would get mad at this movie. But I could really care less. This movie was so funny when it would poke fun at both sides. And there's a scene where the kid Brian goes home to his parents and tries to explain to his Republican dad everything. And his dad just starts ripping on him. And I mean, it got out loud laughs from the entire theater. And yeah, maybe this movie isn't for everyone. Like I said, Ari Aster's movies aren't for everyone. There's people that will hate this movie, and there will be people that love this movie. I definitely think I'm in the middle ground of this, because as I said, I think the runtime really drags. But I went into this with really low expectations. I said I was assuming I was going to give this about a 55, and I think I'm somewhere closer to a 78 to 80 range. So I'm going to say, I don't know what I want to give it, because I don't want to go too high and I don't want to go too low. Because I give Magazine Dreams 77. I think it's a little bit better than Magazine Dreams. I'm going to, I'm going to give it 79. I think it was definitely, I would say a B minus. It's definitely not a B, like a flat B, and I don't think it's a B plus. I just think there's ways that this movie could have been better. And I think that at one point it was starting to go lower on my list, because I think at one point it makes a decision that I was not expecting, and it made me kind of feel like, oh, here we go with an Ari Aster decision in the third act that I'm not gonna like and might ruin this movie. But then the final 10 minutes kind of was weird because Ari Aster, he's gonna make some. It definitely. There's times where it felt normal, like a normal film. You're like, oh, this is pretty cool, and then there's moments where you're like, this is still Ari Aster, so there's got to be some weirdness to it, which it still had. But there's a shootout sequence which you see in the trailer when he comes out with the LMG. That whole sequence was unbelievable, and the way they did the shooting in this, you would see the muzzle flash, then hear the crack of the bullet. Super well done, Ari Aster. I give you all the credit in the world for how you did all the shooting in this. The camera work was fantastic. He loves to put the camera somewhere and let everyone act around it. I don't know if that makes sense. Me and Ryan both said it. Like, the camera's stationary and people move around and act within the frame. The camera doesn't move to them. They work around the camera. And it's a very specific way of filming it. And I think Osgood Perkins does it a lot in Long Legs as well. And I just really like how it's filmed like that. And again, Pedro Pascal and Joaquin, fantastic in this role. I loved Pedro Pascal as Ted Garcia. And the funny thing is, he's the first person, when you look up the cast in this movie, and he's in this movie less than Joaquin, less than Emma Stone, less than Michael Ward, less than Luke Grimes. I think he's probably in the same as Sarah, because I feel like there's scenes where like he's in it, but he doesn't really do anything. Great character, though. I think Pedro Pascal can do anything. So I'm super excited to see him as Reed Richards, but it's funny to see him in this, and then I think it's 2 weeks later after the release, I'm going to see him as Reed Richards. And yeah, I think this movie did a really good job of poking fun at both sides of the political parties during the time. Not both political parties, because I'm not even going to get into that. It poked fun at people drastically on both sides, like the people who are way too far on one side of an idea and people who are way too far on the other side of an idea. And it never felt like too much. And then you have a character like Michael in this who's perfectly in the middle, who's a good human being. He's probably one of the only ones in this entire movie who's a good person. And he's the only one that gets a crappy life pretty much throughout this movie. Eventually, spoilers ahead. If you don't want to hear any spoilers about Eddington, go watch the movie. Come back. Let me know what you guys think about it. And then, yeah, let me know. I want to hear all your guys' opinion on Eddington, because I feel like this is a movie that I'm going to hear drastically different things about. But yeah, eventually Pedro Pascal's character Ted Garcia is murdered alongside his son, and Michael is actually blamed for the killing because a gift sent by the governor to Ted Garcia is found in Michael's car. But as we know, as you're watching it, Joaquin's character is the one who kills Ted Garcia and his son, and he plants it on Michael, even though Michael was the one who was by Joe Cross's side from the beginning, and he does him wrong. And you never really like Joaquin's character because he's kind of a dirtbag from the beginning. And his wife leaves him because he accuses Ted Garcia of raping his wife, which was never true. And then his wife leaves him to go with Vernon, Austin Butler's character. Deirdre O'Connell's in this. She plays Emma Stone's mom, Dawn. She's like a crazy conspiracy theorist. And she puts it into Joe's head that his wife was raped, but she wasn't. And Ted Garcia from the beginning says, I didn't do that. But as it goes on, Joe's, of course, the sheriff. He's like, I'm going to run for mayor. So he runs against Ted. And then you get to watch the funny commercials that we all know about when they go on our TV during election season. They're ripping on each other instead of just doing positive things. And then there's a scene where you're watching Joe Cross react to Ted's video. And the video's so funny and so satire of making fun of it. But then Joe Cross's reaction to it's even funnier. This movie does a great job of just making fun of the whole idea of politics and political races and all of that. So Ari Aster gets an A+ on that side of things from me. And yeah, this movie's just a wild trip. I think the shootout stuff, I did not expect Pedro's character to die in this movie. That was never an idea I thought I had. I didn't expect Antifa to show up. I didn't expect for this movie to be as gory as it was, the violence to be so well done. But yeah, I really liked this movie. I think it was a good time. I think Ari Aster found his footing again. I think Beau is Afraid really lost me and made me lose a lot of hope in Ari Aster, who I said at one point I thought was the director of the future. And then with Beau is Afraid really lost me in a movie I thought was at one point I was like, this might be the movie of the year. So it made me very happy to have this movie, which brought me all the way back into being that this dude is one of the most controversial filmmakers, and I love those kind of people that are willing to push the envelope and see what they can do and do what they think, not what they think, and do what they want to do, which is I think is how filmmaking should be done, and it shouldn't be a director being told by a studio, this is what we want you to do. So shout out to Ari Aster for that. Shout out to this cast, to everyone that got the crew, everyone on this. They did a really good job, and I'm really proud of what they made with this. But yeah, poor Michael. That dude gets blamed for a murder. He gets arrested, put in prison. Then he gets kidnapped by Antifa, gets blown up, lives, scarred for the rest of his life. And yeah, but then he becomes sheriff. That's pretty cool. And then in the end, with everything, you find they blame the murder of Ted Garcia on Antifa because Joaquin's character gets into the shootout, as they said. He kills everyone. Well, he kills 3 of the 4, I believe. Then the one stabs him in the head. And then the kid Brian, who kind of caused it by making the Instagram pages on Instagram Live, shoots the dude who stabbed Joaquin's character Joe in the head. And he becomes like Instagram famous for, of course, stopping Antifa from taking over Eddington, New Mexico. And you watch like his Instagram and stuff become famous. And then Joaquin's character becomes paralyzed. He can't do anything. And there's like a little bit of a time jump. You find out he does become mayor. But really, he's not doing anything because he's paralyzed completely from the neck down. He can't talk or anything. And it's really Dawn being the mayor. And she's just talking. She's the mayor and she's just acting as if Joe's telling her what to do. And she's now dating the caretaker of Joaquin, of Joe Cross. And the movie's just wild. It's a hard movie to just describe. It's one of those movies I really think people need to go watch. And I don't think it's going to make much money, really money at all. Let's do a quick little check. Eddington budget. So it had a budget of $25 million, and it's currently made $4.3 million at the box office. So it's probably going to be one of the biggest bombs of the year. That is really rough. That is. I mean, that's not just a weak box office. That is bomb. Oh, did a whole thing on Ari Aster, and Ari Aster said he's the master of dread, but he's afraid of everything. Might want to go read that. Yeah, that is. That's wild. I did not realize that. I didn't realize that Beau is Afraid made $12 million on a $35 million budget. Well, then you look at Hereditary, which made $90 million on a $10 million budget. Yeah, so Eddington's going to go down as a massive, massive bomb for A24, which is a real shame because I do think it's probably one of their better movies they've done the last couple of years. I think A24's put out some weird movies recently. So I was fully behind this movie. And it's a real shame when I see movies that I really enjoy, and I wish more people... Because I feel like Eddington was a movie that people right away, they were like, nope, I'm not going to watch that. And it's a shame because I think it maybe had some poor marketing and it didn't show off enough what it had going for itself. I wish it leaned into the comedy side of it a little bit more, and I think it would have pulled a little bit more people in. But yeah, this is a good movie. I think people need to go watch it. And before I get out of here, I do want to answer some fan questions that we got in. And let me pull those up really quick. So the first one was from our friends from the 2V podcast. They were like, who would you have voted for if I lived in the town? 100% would have voted for Ted Garcia. Joe Cross is wild. That dude was just throwing out accusations. That dude was definitely a racist. As much as he had Michael, who was black, it didn't matter. He was still making some comments. But yeah, definitely voting for Ted Garcia, not Joe Cross. This is questions from Maya from Austin, Austin, Texas. If you could erase your memory and rewatch one movie for the first time again, what would it be and why? I would really like to watch Paranormal Activity 3 again because there hasn't been a movie that scared me the way Paranormal Activity 3 did. That one really put me on the edge of my seat. So I'd really like to go back and watch that again. Do you think practical effects will ever fully make a comeback over CGI in horror films? It's from Jordan in Pittsburgh. I think it will. I think we're starting to see it now. I feel like horror films are really starting to lean back into that practical filmmaking. And I really like it because I really, really hate CGI stuff. And Ryan and me have talked about it a lot. The only downside to me in Superman is the whole sequence in the Pocket universe with the Pixel River. And I know people love it, and it's just because I don't like that CGI look of things. But yeah. What's a movie you loved as a kid but realized it hasn't held up as an adult? This is by Eli in Sacramento. Oh, 100% Batman and Robin. I thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread as a kid. I watched that movie at least 60, 70 times. I can't even watch it. That movie is horrible. And I'm talking about the George Clooney one. I'm not talking about like the 60s one, which is like one of my favorite movies still. Which director do you think is the most consistent in terms of quality, even if they're not your favorite? This is from Rachel in Newark, New Jersey. Christopher Nolan, best director in the world, without a doubt in my mind. He's not my favorite director. He's just what I think is the best director. What's a film that genuinely changed your perspective on something in real life? Chris M. from Chicago, Illinois. A movie that changed my perspective on something in real life. Hmm. Something that changed my perspective on something in real life. Damn. I don't know. That's a really hard question. Jews and the Black Messiah really. I mean, I always knew what happened in the 60s like was wrong and like how people of color were treated and stuff. But then like I feel like even then like people like the Black Panthers were still like kind of like treated as like a bad group. They were just fighting for what they believed in. I know that it was violence, but they were being treated with violence, so they were just fighting back with violence. So I feel like that gave me a different perspective on all that, and they were only reacting. So maybe that's a fantastic movie. Also, Trials of Chicago 7 was really good. It's like a lot of movies about that kind of stuff because I feel like even in school sometimes they kind of don't really explain because I feel like I didn't they never really teach you about the Black Panthers. So I think Jews and the Black Messiah is just an unbelievable movie, and it just makes you feel so much worse about all that kind of stuff. And that those people were amazing people, like they're heroes. Yeah, I think that's a good one. I don't know. I think Incendies, but Denis really good. Hmm. Batman showed you that no one would be able to be Batman. Jaws, to be scared of the ocean. I don't know. That's probably one of the hardest questions they've got on the podcast. I hope my answers didn't come off wrong. I just meant it as like I feel like school doesn't teach you enough about the that era. Because I feel like in history, I never really ever get past like the Revolutionary War ever. If you had to live in a world of any movie, which would you pick and why? Samantha L from Tampa, Florida. I think Star Wars would be cool, but it'd also be terrible to live under the Empire. And now that I'm watching Andor, I'm on season 2. First off, I should not have waited this long to watch the show. I feel like Always Sunny in Philadelphia because I'd just be living my normal life. My life's pretty great life, pretty great family, girlfriend, friends. Because I don't. Everyone would always be like, "Oh, I'd love to live in like the DC universe." Or like, no, that'd be horrible. Do you know how much insurance would cost? You just bought like a brand new Raptor pickup truck and he gets flung across by the Hulk. He doesn't even hit the person. No, put me in like Rocky. Yeah, Rocky, because then I could like go watch him fight, watch Creed, Probably that's what it is. Especially being from like the Philadelphia area. What's your favorite movie soundtrack that elevates the film completely? Dune. It's from Andre from Detroit. If you could greenlight a sequel or remake of any movie, what would it be? Oh, 100% would be The Nice Guys too. I want another one of those movies. Oh, and then there was a movie that I watched and I was like, out of all the movies I wish could get a remake, this was it. Shit, what? It wasn't Jaws. Because I swear to God, they better never remake Jaws. It's one of the best movies of all time. There was a movie that I wanted. I'm like, this would actually make sense to get like a remake because it had like modern day effects, like quality. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, a Nice Guys sequel would be nice. That's one I never understood. I know it came out the same time as Angry Birds. I think that's what he said it was, but that movie's so good. What's the most underrated performance of the past 10 years by Luis? Oh, Fade Rotha. How the hell did he not get nominated for that? Or is Russell Crowe in The Nice Guys? Another movie I thought he was going to get nominated for. There's a lot. 10 years. So that goes back to 2015? Oh, I was going to say Emma Stone, the main Spider-Man 2. Just outside the numbers. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. I stand by that. Harrison Ford's my boy. Number 11. This is the last one. What movie villain do you secretly root for and why? Tina B. Oh, me and Sam talked about this when we watched it. Urban Legends. If you guys haven't seen the movie, like the original 90s, I think it's 90s. But that girl has an extremely fair reason for doing what she does in that movie. I don't want to give it away, but I'm rooting for her as well at the end. And then my recommendation of the week. First off, go play Ready or Not. That game is unbelievable. It's on console. And thank you guys for checking out our TikTok. We've gained like 20 something followers, which I know isn't a lot, but it's a lot for us to gain such a short amount of time on TikTok. The 3 TikToks we put out have like a combined, I think it's like 10,000 views. Very, very thankful for that. I clicked on the complete wrong app. I was trying to go to my letterbox to do a recommendation of the week. I think I recommended Afflicted last episode. Mulan. Go watch Mulan. It's the best Disney princess movie. That movie's amazing. It's got 4.5 stars by me on Letterboxd. It's one of my favorite. It's in my probably top 50 movies of all time. The movie has always made me so happy. I think it's just fantastic. Go follow me on Letterboxd also. It's just Tommy Crest. It's just my name. But yeah, I love following people on Letterboxd, meeting people, just getting to know everyone. I think it's everything I got for today. Damn. I didn't follow my brother on Letterboxd until just now. That's horrible. I didn't follow my... Oh my god, I didn't follow him either. Damn, I'm a horrible friend on Letterboxd. Oh, my boy Mystic Cinema. I think it's a girl, actually. But, yeah. Those are my recommendations of the week. Go check out Eddington in theaters. Go watch Afflicted. It's on Amazon Prime. Go watch Andor. Go watch anything. Don't let people tell you what you can and can't watch. Don't let critics or audiences' scores tell you what's good and what's not. Let everything be up to your own opinion. And don't let people in comment sections tell you that your opinion's wrong. Art is subjective, and there is no right or wrong answer to what is a good and what is a bad movie, unless it's Justice League by Joss Whedon. That is a bad movie. But yeah, go make sure to check us out on all of our social medias, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. Tommy Cresta, Ferran _12, the _ popcorn _ podcast, the popcorn _ pod, the popcorn pod gaming, the popcorn _ podcast, in YouTube, everything in between. Thank you guys so much for the support. We have a lot of stuff coming up. We should be doing our top 25 movies episode in August, I think. Me and Ryan still define a date. We have an episode coming out with we have a video coming out with ESP Golf where we're going to be playing actual golf, so you get to watch how terrible we are at that. We are doing we're reviewing Hell House with Chuck, the movie guy. If you guys don't know who that is, I'm telling you, it's this guy. Trauma. We made it, Mother. Oh. Wait, Mother. I went into this movie with zero. Chuck, the movie guy. He's the one that says it fucking rips. Dude's awesome. Me and Chuck talk about horror movies all the time. Yeah, he's an awesome guy. We're going to review Hell House Lineage. So yeah, be ready to check out that episode. We're reviewing Fantastic Four soon. Well, this week. And yeah, we have a lot of episodes coming up soon, and we will have a lot of information coming out soon with sponsorships that should be happening. And yeah, thank you guys so much for the continued support of the show. We're so thankful. Ryan will be back in the next episode, and we will see you guys then. Bye, everyone.